What we do here is we go over trades that our guys have archived in SMB Playbook forum. The reason why we do this is it gives the trader a chance to internalize the things that they do well. There's lots of good in your trading when you sit down and sort it out. But there's probably some stuff in there that's not so good that you need to eliminate and do less of. And there's definitely some stuff you may not understand that you do very, very well that you need to do more of. An example of something I do not do well apparently is trade GME, as I'm pretty sure I've now broken my wrist having reacted to the way that traded this morning. But there's just certain types of stocks that don't trade very well for the way that you trade, and doing reviews such as a detailed trade review and a playbook trade is really essential to getting to the heart of how you're going to be able to take money consistently out of the marketplace. So let's go over one of these fade trades. Probably one of the most popular trades of all traders. Everybody loves to be the first one in, and everyone wants to be that guy who's smarter than the marketplace, which is essentially what this is, right? You telling the world that you're smarter than everyone else as you're seeing the turn. So on that note, let's bring in this trade, and we'll start with the big picture.
Hello everyone. So I'm gonna go with the big picture, and so the SPY has been chopping in a range about 188.60 to 187.40 for the past few days. Then this is the intraday fundamentals for OPTT. I couldn't find any news. The technical I was looking at was 5 on the daily and weekly. ATR was about 42 cents. Average daily vol 4.8 million. R vol is 2.5.
So it doesn't move a lot.
No, it doesn't. The short float was about 6%. But what caught my eye was I found this stock. This has been on my scanner or radar for a while after the first up move and news, and it's been basing for the past few days or 2 weeks. And then what really caught my eye was volume pre-market, and I couldn't find news, so it was gapping above the breakout price area. So that's why I put it on my radar to play for that day.
How was the pre-market volume? What caught your eye there?
I think it was doing about at least 1% of the average daily trading volume. So it's pretty thick compared to normal. Usually it doesn't even print, or it's kind of thin. So that caught my attention. So this is the...
All right, and also not really much of a short float.
Right. So this is the daily and weekly time frame. You can see that 5 was a pretty good resistance level on this flag. That's what I was looking at. This is my monthly, and I found the resistance around $7. Sorry for that.
So as you're thinking about the trade, above 5, potentially to 7?
Yes, and it was gapping up at 5 and broke out, held that 5 fig, went up and touched 701. So I played this both ways. I played the breakout and I tried the faded versus the 7, and I caught a little bit of both. The only thing was I wasn't able to capture the whole trend both up and down. So maybe we could talk about how I could work on something like that as well. So right at the open, there was a consolidation range right here on the 5 break. I took a little piece here because it was right at the open, price discovery, so it was kind of like a feeler. And then I took a Momo lot up here around the dimes, and I played this until the trend broke on the 1 minute. That's how I traded the first lot, or the first trade. Second trade, I found a held bid around 04s, I believe, or double bottom on the 1 minute. I just played it versus the support, the held bid, and I played that for the trend break again. And then the third time, this is where I didn't get in because it dropped out way too quick and it went below 5. So I thought, maybe the breakout failed. Was a fake out. It was just gap, and they're just gonna sell it. So I didn't trade it the third time, but this was they held it. They held the pre-market level right here. So what do you think about that?
Yeah. Okay. So I don't really like the idea of you playing trend breaks that early in the day because there's so much price discovery. I like you really looking at the tape and finding spots where it's going to turn on both your first trade and your second trade. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'd do that differently. You're gonna have to read the tape in the first 45 minutes of the day. Things don't trend, so it doesn't make any sense to necessarily draw a trend line. I mean, I would say I would take a step back with that though and say, I suppose that 5 was such an important level that you might argue that it would be okay to actually let it fail on a shorter term trend because it's just such an important level. It's getting above that level. You're really holding it, more of a trade to hold early in the day because 5 is such a big level. That does make some sense. So it's either a trade to hold because it's above such an important level, and the exception to it being a trade to hold in the first 45 minutes is it's above such an important level. But if not, then I think you want to be playing momentum, and you're going to have to look at the tape and see the weakness, which I know you can do. So, the other thing about the double bottom, I just don't like stocks that hold below 5. If 5 is the level and it's holding at 490, I struggle with that.
I was holding above right here. It was like 504.
Yeah.
So I thought
No,
I was like,
I understand that, but this third.
oh yeah, I didn't. That was the one where I was sketched out, and I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
I don't want to get like.
So I don't love that. Would have to be an unusual hold on the bid at this 490 level for me to be able to get back into that.
Okay.
There, I want to buy it above 5. And I don't even know that I would have bought it. I don't know that I would have bought it there. Can you just circle there as it's gets above 5 and then
consolidation
holds?
area.
I don't even know if I would buy that there.
I was kind of
Maybe.
sketched out here. It's making lower highs,
Still
so.
early. Yeah. I don't know. So go ahead.
All right, so after 12 o'clock, it touched my target of 7, and the highest it went to was 701s. So that's I think after the meeting, I came out, I started noticing, oh man, OPTT really went, and let me see if I could trade it the other way now because it hit resistance, it had a held offer, it only went to 01s, and now it's got a held offer around 90 cents. So I tried to play breakdown here. So I shorted the breakdown. It didn't work right away. I covered half. And then when it bounced a little bit, I added another piece here because the table looked really weak. They weren't really buying this anymore. I believe the SPY was probably like chopping around. So there was a lot of indecision. This is overbought now. And I knew what my risk was. So I just let it trend all the way down to prior support and VWAP right here. VWAP was, I think 505. It bounced off perfectly. So that's when I started to cover.
Let me get in.
Oh, okay.
So there's different types of fade shorts. So you can fade, if you think 7 is a really important long-term resistance level, then you can fade based on price. So as it comes up to 7, you can just put it out and do the best you can with covering. You might cover 706, you might cover 701 right away. Let's say you short 699 and you cover 701 right away, and then it doesn't really go up, and you notice it's not really trading above 701. What would you do?
I'd try again.
You try it, you short it again, and just cover above 701.
Right.
So you probably have to do that twice. So there's a fade short against long-term resistance at 7. So you short 699, gets above 7, you cover 701, it doesn't go up, you put it back on. You would have literally covered above 702, and now you're in. So you lost 2 cents on one trade, now you're in, and you have a good position from 701-ish, and you are looking for other opportunities to short the stock. I think that if you saw that held offer at 685, that is something that would be interesting to add to your short, and then certainly below here. Now the shorter term momentum is now different. It makes a low, it makes a lower low, makes a lower high, and then now the momentum is changing. So, you want to piece together certain types of trades. And the one thing is, if you're going too short up there at $7, you can't cover it too quickly most of the time. You can make cash flow. So what you can do is you can go one trade. You can go tier 1, trade to hold, fade trade, tier 2, tier 3 cash trades, meaning just using 7 as a way for the stock to sort of pull in. So maybe you short one tier core, and then maybe you're covering into a down move and covering into a down move, and then sort of doing that. And then maybe you put on another core here. So there are different ways to definitely attack. I mean, this is the reversal trade, I think, below here. Below here, I think, is the reversal trade. This is up here, this is based on price, technical price. But that's how you sort of want to do that. And the key is to make sure you get enough out of the trade. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So trade management, what'd you think?
Trade management, I was looking at 5 and 7 from the night before over the weekend, and I kind of like planned this out already, so I thought I knew how to attack it, but things kind of changed during the day, so I couldn't capture the whole 5 to 7 move, so but I did the best I could with it, with the momentum and then the little fade I had. Or could I even call that a fade, or should I just call it like breakdown momentum or trend reversal?
I think it's a fade.
Okay. So I watched it grind all the way up to 7 and reach resistance, and that's when I started fading this due to the tape weakness and breaking of the uptrend it had all day.
Okay. So, look, you want to look at these as just patterns, and so fade trades have subsets, and you can see as we walk through it that there are more than one. There's more than one trade here. There's more than one subset of a fade trade in here, and you really just want to look at each one of those trades differently. Up at 7 is a fade based on price. That is a very distinct trade that will take you a certain amount of time to get good at. A cash trade, the scalp, tier 2, tier 3, that is a subset of a fade trade. That will take you a considerable amount of time to get that right for you. The reversal trade, I think when it clearly broke down, it made that lower low and it made that lower high, and it starts to turn.
Yeah.
It starts to turn, the stock starts to turn. That's a reversal trade. I would call that a reversal trade. And those are the trades that I tend to trade the best. Those are the trades for me that are easier to hold, because now I feel like people are voting that I'm right, that the stock is going to go back down. Whereas up at 7, I'm not so sure about that. I have this technical level, but the stock did just go from 5 to 7, and we could wick through 7, and what am I going to do then? Or why does it have to stop at 7? It just went from 5 to 7. This technical level is going to be enough to actually stop this stock that acted so crazily to go from 5 to 7. I'm thinking maybe that's not going to happen. And so, but when it turns, I feel better about it. And you can put on more size there, and you can hold it. You can hold it for a longer term, because there you sort of feel like, and even though that's that might be 50 cents, 40 cents lower, but you're trading with the majority at that point, and that's easier.
Yeah.
It's always easier to be the majority in everything that you do than the minority. So, all right, but these are good examples, good subsets of a fade trade. Perhaps you guys can make these your own. Until next time, trade well.
Hi, I'm Mike Bellafiore, author of the PlayBook and One Good Trade, co-founder of SMB U and SMB Capital here in New York City. If you want to learn more about SMB, please go check out smbu.com. Check out our blog, where we share tons of trading tips, trading stories, trades we're in, trading anecdotes, and also take the time to sign up for our 10-day free training program, which we offer to the trading community at smbu.com. We hope you enjoy it. We hope to see you on the site. Trade well.